Well, hello, everyone. It's been a while. I pray that you all are doing well. Welcome to all of our regular viewers. Ooh, hold on one second. Okay, we had an echo there. Hopefully that is better. Can you all hear me okay? Let me see. It was a loud echo. Heard myself background. Okay, good. Let's start again. Hello, everyone. So welcome to all of our regular viewers, those who are tuning in for the first time. Hello and welcome to you. Hello, moderators. Praises to y'all for you. Hello to all watching on the TV, to my mother. Shalom to everyone tonight. If you have been tuning in, we're talking about melanin. And the series is called Uncovering Melanin Secrets, because we've been told that blackness is a curse backed up by scripture. And we were never valued. We had a lot of our people killed because of the color of their skin. And we're now discovering that our black skin is extremely important. The divine creator placed this chemical in our bodies for various reasons, and they're all good. So we're also finding out that it's now a cause for exploitation. Yet again, we are being exploited. So there are some who will say that it's racist to even talk about this. And after centuries of being told that, melanated skin made us ugly, made us look dirty, we were inhumane, we're discovering that our black is beautiful. The truth is that this information is simply exposing the lies of white supremacy. And there are some who want us to continue in ignorance regarding the value of having melanated skin. And far too often, we have allowed others to define us because we didn't know. We didn't have the information. We didn't know the truth about ourselves. We were ignorant. But we're finally finding our voice. So it's necessary for us to speak some uncomfortable truths. There's no way to put a pretty little bow on this type of message to make it comfortable. It just isn't. Race and color played a big part in the makeup of this nation. Our blackness was a threat, and it still is to a certain extent. So for those who find it hard to hear this truth, you need to understand that what's happening in this awakening is that the Most High is exposing and dismantling all of the lies that were beaten into our ancestors to foster this ideology of white supremacy. And I have to say that it's time. It's time for the truth to be told, whether folks want to hear it or not. So again, I pray that you all are doing well. Let's see who we have. Hello there, Brother Calvin. Pray that you're well. Cecilia, DJ, Shamika, Waverly, Marie Lee. Victorious Ron. All right now. Inspired Identity. I love that. Roam Me. Okay. Hello, Marriott. Trumpets Call. Charles West. Jill, how you doing, sister? And I always get Tezuria. I think I'm getting that right. I'm going to get that right. Adrian, how you doing? Shelly, good to see you. Daughter of the King, Mayahia. Okay, Maria. His namesake 7. Papa Smurf, how you doing, Papa Smurf? Don, how you doing? Mayala. All right, you all are coming up with some creative names. I absolutely love it. Barbara, Yahuwah's Kingdom, Rochelle, Yah's daughter, Jason, Nee, I want to say Nee or Nye, Lanti, Rose, and Davida. All right, so several of you on the call tonight, or on the live tonight, I should say. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this topic. I have quite a bit that I want to cover tonight. And again, we are talking about uncovering melanin secrets. So we're going to focus on a topic that was covered on a segment of Fox News, and most of you know or have heard about Tucker Carlson. He called Kristen Clarke, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the U.S. Department of Justice, a purveyor of hate when she shared genetic differences between blacks and whites in a Harvard newspaper. She was quite young when she did it, but she stated that melanin gives blacks superior physical, mental, spiritual, and mental abilities. So Carlson said that the views were crackpot. In other words, she was insane, and said her views were deranged and dangerous. So we want to talk about it in the session. And we want to know, does melanin really give our people superior physical, mental, spiritual, and what did I say? Yes, physical abilities. I have mental on there twice. So before we get started, what do you all think? Do you think the statement is true? Lexus has been doing this 30 years. Okay, 30 years. All right, sister. It's a long time. Quest says she told the truth. Let's see. Kara says he couldn't do anything but gaslight. Yeah, that's true. Since he couldn't counter the facts. Great point. Cecilia, we don't age like they do. Melanin is our gold. Okay. Sincere says it's true. Chizuri says yes. We are also not hybrids. All right. Jason. Let's see who else we have. AHKBT says yes, indeed. Don says facts. Alicia says yes. All right, so then we want to dig into this because we want to know for sure. We want to back it up with facts. So what I want to do now is I want to play the video again for those who may not have heard it so that you can hear what was actually said.
Kristen Clarke is Joe Biden's pick to run the Justice Department's enormously powerful Civil Rights Division. Clarke says her job is simple. It's to end hate. But like so many in her world, Clarke is in fact an enthusiastic purveyor of what she claims to fight. Clarke's been on this show several times. The new investigation, though, by our reporters has uncovered shocking, and we don't use that word lightly, legitimately shocking statements that Clarke made in public while at Harvard. In 1994, Clarke wrote a letter to the Harvard Crimson in her capacity as the president of the Black Studies Association. Clarke wanted to explain her views on race science. Quote, "Please use the following theories and observations to assist you in your search for truth regarding the genetic differences between blacks and whites. End quote. So you know it's going to be interesting. And it was. Quote, 1. Dr. Richard King reveals that the core of the human brain is the locus coeruleus, which is a structure that is black because it contains large amounts of neuromelanin, which is essential for its operation. 2. Black infants sit, crawl, and walk sooner than whites. 3. Carol Barnes notes that human mental processes are controlled by melanin, that same chemical which gives blacks their superior physical and mental abilities. 4. Some scientists have revealed that most whites are unable to produce melanin because their pineal glands are often calcified or non-functioning. Pineal calcification rates with Africans are 5 to 15%, Asians 15 to 25%, and Europeans 60 to 80%. This is the chemical basis for the cultural differences between blacks and whites. And 5. Melanin endows blacks with greater mental, physical, and spiritual abilities, something which cannot be measured based on Eurocentric standards. End quote. Let that sink in. Melanin endows black people with greater mental, physical, and spiritual abilities. No, that's not an editorial from The Final Call, Louis Farrakhan's free newspaper. That is a direct quote from the person Joe Biden is about to put in charge of this country's civil rights laws.
All right. So there you have it. So instead of bringing in scientists and experts to try to disprove what she said, he chose to pander to his audience and to be sarcastic. But we're going to look at all 5 of the statements to see if research is backing her up. And I believe that this information is giving us an opportunity to learn more about our melanated skin. Because I'm just saying, speaking for myself, when I think of melanin, I primarily just think of it protecting us from the sun rays. But since I've been doing this study, I am really amazed by what is known about melanin. And a lot of this has been known for a while. So these are statements that Kristen Clarke wrote in a Harvard newspaper. And we're going to look at the first statement that she made. She said, Dr. Richard King reveals that the core of the human brain is the locus coeruleus, which is a structure that is black because it contains large amounts of neuromelanin, which is essential for its operation. So can we find sources to back up this information? Because we want to know whether or not this is true. So I covered this in one of the sessions. This is from Cleveland. Let me make sure I get this. Cleveland Clinic. And it says, what does melanin do? So melanin provides pigmentation to your skin, eyes, and hair. The substance also absorbs harmful UV or ultraviolet rays and protects your cells from sun damage. Where is melanin produced? So this is the key point of the statement that she made. Melanin is produced in melanocytes. These cells are located in different areas of your body, including your hair, the innermost layers of your skin, your pupils and irises, and look at this, the substantia nigra and locus I'm going to say coeruleus, or areas of the brain. All right. Now, do you think maybe it was the word negra that set him off when he heard negra? Because, what do you think of when you hear the word negra? What do you think of negra? So let's check the free dictionary to see. Negra, black, nigger. So maybe it was the word nigger or Negra? Because, they used to call our ancestors that here, Negras. So I think that may have been the word. But it's possible that that was the word that set him off. But based on what that just said, that's where it's found. And the chemical there is black. But we don't want to stop there. We want to look at some other sources because we want to have at least 2 or 3 witnesses. So, according to Dr. Richard King, and who is he? He was a psychiatrist, historian, and melanin pineal gland scholar. A scholar, you all. He was most widely known for his influential studies of melanin and ancient Egypt. So, according to Dr. Richard King, there are 4 major broad subsections of the melanin life ocean. So he lists these different areas, but I want to go to the next bullet point. He says, found throughout the entire body of all humans in their skin, eyes, endocrine glands, blood, heart, muscles, lungs, gastrointestinal tract, kidney, all of these areas, sexual organs, and the brain. He says melanin in the brain is called neuromelanin. Within the human brain stem are 12 centers of black melanin. And he lists this same area, locus coeruleus. That's a tough one. Coeruleus. And he says melanin is critical to hearing. African people hear a wider range of sound than Europeans, in particular, the low bass sounds. All right, so there's another source, but let's not stop there. Let's go on. Now we have Dr. Arturo Solis Herrera. He is a medical surgeon. He is an ophthalmologist and pharmacologist. He does extensive research in the fields of nutritional biochemistry, neurology, and clinical pharmacology. What does he say about melanin? Melanin occurs in various parts of the human body. In the eye, a layer beneath the outer white layer, known as the choroid coat. And he says the choroid coat, these are some tough words, is responsible for absorbing light that does not pass into the lens of the eye. Melanin is also found in the inner ear. That one I did not know. In the center of the brain, at its base, is a structure known as the substantia nigra. There's that word again. And he says it's responsible for a major part of what makes us human in terms of our behavior and motor function. He says this substantia nigra gets its dark coloring from the large number of dopamine neurons within it. Well, you all, I guess we have to ask the question, did she tell the truth? Are they backing up what she said? You tell me. Let's see what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts? Are they backing it up? So, Davita says yes. Oh, Michael, is it possible that it was the source that gave the God-given abilities to the 12 sons of Jacob to do exploits in battle with superhuman strength? That's possible, but we also have to consider, that there are other melanated people on the planet. There are some Indians who are much darker than our people. So Inspired said, trust the science. Look, see, no, there are times when we should and times when we shouldn't, right? If they really trust the science, then yeah. Most High said 100 quests for Nibiru says, yes, she did. Let's see. Esther. Niagara is black. It's from the Spanish and Portuguese. All right. Mount Esquire, I see the facts. All right. Well, then we want to continue because, I mean, he's making it seem like she just made this stuff up. So we want to continue. Let's go on then. So the second statement that she made is that Black infants sit, crawl, and walk sooner than whites. Did you all know this? Had you heard this before? That Black babies sit, crawl, and walk sooner than whites? Because I had heard this before. I didn't know the research on it, but I had heard this. So did anyone else? Okay, so some of you are saying, yes, you did know this. Okay, so, all right, well then you've heard this. So then let's see what the research says on this. So this comes from the National Library of Medicine, and I'm going to read the highlighted portion. The title is Racial Ethnic Variation in the Motor Development and Performance of American Children. And it says the literature on the motor development and performance of American children from several racial and ethnic groups is reviewed. The evidence suggests that Black infants are advanced in motor development during the first 2 years of life, and that Black children of school years, particularly boys, perform consistently better than white and Mexican American children in running and speed. Okay, so let's find another source. And this is going to come from, this is a journal article here from Journal Storage, which is a digital library. And the title is The Comparative Motor Development of Baganda American White and American Black Infants. So let's see what this source is saying. All right, I'm going to read the highlighted portion. Let me enlarge this a bit. All right, so it's saying, it's listing the folks who are involved in this study. And it says they found that American Black infants were advanced in motor performance when compared with American white infants. Explanations of this difference have included genetic and environmental factors. Similar findings have been reported by examiners of infants from other societies. So not just here, it was found in other societies that this is true. Let's continue. Actually, let me know, was she proven to be right on that one? That Black infants sit, crawl, and walk sooner than whites. I want to see what your thoughts are. Did she make her case? Let's see. All right. Did she make her case? Keith is saying they know that we have overall advantage over them across the board. Queen Mommy is saying yes. Karis is saying yep. Felicia is saying yes. Deborah is saying absolutely. Harold Brooks is saying yes. He had no evidence to the contrary. Trayvon is saying yes. Okay, so several of you believe that yes, she made her case. All right, let's keep going then. Now we'll go on to number 3. And she referenced Carol Barnes, and I've been showing him in the previous video. So you've heard some of what he has to say already about melanin, but she made this comment from Carol Barnes, Dr. Carol Barnes. She says, he notes that human mental processes are controlled by melanin, that same chemical that gives blacks their superior physical and mental abilities. And I think this may have been the one that sent Tucker Carlson over the edge. I think this was the one right here. This sent him over the edge. So we want to see if we can find sources to back this up. All right. And this comes from Dr. Timothy Owens. He's trained as a physiological psychologist. He's a graduate of Lincoln University. He has an MS and a PhD from Howard University. And for more than 20 years, it says he served as a college professor and medical researcher. So let's see what he says. As he says in his book, The Science and Myth of Melanin, Dr. Timothy Moore states that melanin is more than just a pigment and is found in many areas of the bodies besides the skin. So here are the bullet points from his book. According to Dr. Moore, in humans, melanin is the primary determinant of skin and hair color. Melanin has genetic, biochemical, and functional links to the immune system. It neutralizes oxidants and antimicrobial drugs. Ooh, these scientific words. It's found in almost every organ of the body and is necessary for the brain and nerves to operate. I'm going to read that one again. It's found in almost every organ of the body and is necessary for the brain and nerves to operate, the eyes to see, and the cells to reproduce. It's also found in the inner ear. It helps to repair DNA in the body. And then he lists the different types of melanin. Let's look at another source. So this one is Dr. Joseph A. Bailey. And he says, after discovering blackness is a divine principle of the cosmos, and this is the work that he had done, he found that one of its widely imparted and many benefits is Black people's mental processes, brain power, being controlled by the same melanin chemicals which generate their superior physical, athletic, rhythmic dancing abilities. Melanin enables, oh, here we go again, Black infants to sit, stand, crawl, and walk sooner than whites. You all. All right. So did he back up her points, or did those sources back up her statement? What are your thoughts? Are they backing her up? Calvin says that sounds about right. Stephanie, Gentiles can't handle the truth. All right. Queen Esther, mind to potty train herself, taught the 4-year-olds in her preschool class how to tie their shoes. All right. Ben Yosef says, yes, Yahweh name be praised. All right. Let's see. Checkmate, says Keith Curry. All right. So most of you are thinking that her point was proved, that that statement was accurate. Now, I mean, I don't know that I necessarily compared my children to others as they were going through, growing up. I felt that they did things, rather quickly. It didn't take a lot of time for them to learn how to do certain things, walking, running, etc. I felt that they were able to do things a lot quicker. But I mean, raising their head, even when they were infants, I was kind of amazed that they could do that so quickly. So let's go on, because we want to continue with this. We want to now look at statement 4. She said some scientists have revealed that most whites are unable to produce melanin because their pineal glands are often calcified or non-functioning. No, it may have been this statement that sent him over the edge. Definitely this statement. She said pineal calcification rates with Africans are 5 to 15%, Asians 15 to 25%, and Europeans 60 to 80%. That's very high. And she says this is the chemical basis for the cultural differences between blacks and whites. Oof. Okay, let's see what the sources say on this one. So this comes from Journal of Clinical Neuroscience, and the title is The Association Between Pineal Gland Calcification and White Matter, Hyperintensities of Presumed Vascular Origin in Older Adults, a population-based studies. So let's look at the highlights. It says pineal gland calcification has been associated with low melatonin production. Melatonin deficiency may play a role in the development of cerebral small vessel disease. Okay. Well, let's go to the article and read some of this. It says pineal gland calcification, or PGC, has been associated with low melatonin production, a hormone with antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and neuroprotective effects. Okay, let's look at the next part. We're going to go to another source. This is from the American Journal and this is from the American Journal of Röntgenology. I had to look this one up, you all. And this one is actually the science of radiation. Röntgenology, the science of radiation. I didn't know they had such a thing. But so it says incidence of normal pineal gland calcification in skull. I'm going to get this word. Ooh, all these words. Röntgenology, or Rowan genograms of Black and white Americans. So just remember, that's the study of radiology. Interesting. They have a study for everything, it appears. So let's see what they say. All right. They say the incidence of Röntgenology, visible pineal gland calcification, is approximately twice as common in American whites as in blacks, a difference that is very striking after age 40. Okay. It goes on to say, an intriguing possibility has been raised that might relate to the racial differences in pineal gland calcification. Melatonin, the most potent skin lightening agent presently known, is elaborated only by the pineal gland. Increase in daylight inhibits melatonin synthesis, while a decrease of light has the opposite effect. Could increase in this hormone in the pineal gland be related to calcium formation in that organ, as well as to the whiteness of the human skin? Wow. Okay, you all. So let's continue. The article goes on. It says it's talking about Schuler observation. His observation established the influence of age on the incidence of pineal gland calcification. From a summary of several of these works, the estimated frequency of pineal shadow was found to be 2% in those 3 to 12 years of age, 46% from 13 to 40, and 69% after the age of 40. And it says all of the above studies were carried out mainly in Caucasians, and racial differences were not mentioned. It goes on to say, in recent years, a much lower incidence of pineal gland calcification has been reported in other races. I'm going to drop down. In Africa, one of the first hints of a low incidence of pineal shadow was made by Odeku and Janata in their study of brain tumors at the University College Hospital. So they mention a surprising rarity of calcified pineal gland on skull, and I can't see, Röntgenograms. Yes, I'm fighting with these scientific words. In West Africa. So, family, did she tell the truth? What are your thoughts? Did she tell the truth? Up next, yes, we are different, very different. It is what it is. Okay. So, did she tell the truth? Pat, why is it okay for them to say we are different, but when we agree, they get upset? That's a question. China Ma says yes. She told the truth. Ben Yosef, yes. Frugal, how you doing, Frugal? Nurse, yes. Told the truth. All right. Now, the Gentiles won't ever acknowledge that we are royalty. Margarita, yep. Cecilia, yep, absolutely. So, all right, let's go on. All right, statement number 5. Melanin endows Blacks with greater mental, physical, and spiritual abilities, something which cannot be measured based on Eurocentric standards. No, it was definitely this statement that sent him over the edge. Let me read that one again. Melanin endows Blacks with greater mental, physical, and spiritual abilities, something which cannot be measured based on Eurocentric standards. Oh boy. Let's see what the research says. I'm actually going to read from this book, and it's called The Biology of the Negro. This was written by Julian Herman Lewis. He was a PhD and medical doctor, associate professor of pathology from the University of Chicago. And we want to see what he says. Oh, gosh. I'm just going to read his statements. Negroes in the United States form a sharply delineated but well-integrated racial element of the American population. They are an alien people who have been remarkably well adapted to an entirely different civilization. So speaking of us being alien to this land, this nation, and climate, and in a much better way, I'm going to enlarge this just a bit, than other people have been able to adapt themselves to tropical Africa. So in essence, saying we were uprooted from our the land where we were supposed to be, where the Most High planted us, and we were brought or transplanted to a different area. And he's saying we've adapted. He's saying a measure of the Negro's success in overcoming the handicaps of a transplant from his native soil to a contrasting and foreign country is found in the facts disclosed by his vital statistics. The population has increased 12 to 13 times in a century and a half. A resistance to new diseases is increasingly well developed, and the lifespan is continually being lengthened, all of which indicate, in the words of Holmes, the biological victory of the Black man. At one time, the Negro was believed to be threatened with extinction, but to the contrary, he is well established and showing a normal and natural increase without the aid of a material amount of importation of new blood. He goes on to say, the characteristic anatomical features of the Negro are not accident, but are to be considered as an adaptation to a specific environment, a part of which are the diseases with which he has to cope. The efficiency of this adaptation is seen in the success with which he lives in those parts of Africa which are not readily inhabitable by white people. As a matter of fact, Negroes can live much more readily in the countries of Caucasians than the latter can live in Africa, excepting those parts of the continent with climates more or less European in nature. So he goes on to say the skin, as the organ which comes in closest contact with the environment of the individual, possesses marked adaptive characteristics that permit existence under the most favorable circumstances. Also, the skin has functions, both, I want to say this is secretory and excretory, that are nicely coordinated with the functions of the internal organs. Since the external conditions under which races live vary, and because there are many racial characteristics of internal organs that influence the skin, this organ and its appendages are correlated with race. Did you hear that? This organ and its appendages are correlated with race and vary in function and structure as widely as do the races. The skin of the Negro is a remarkable organ and is so constructed as to efficiently meet the demands of the circumstances to which the race is adjusted. Its pigmentation, sweat glands, vascularity, hair, and other features have attributes that share largely in those physical peculiarities that make up this distinct race stock. All right. Whew, that was a mouthful, but I want to show you this next one. And believe it or not, you all, what's interesting is that this was an article posted on the Fox News page. And I'm sure you see it. It says, whites genetically weaker than blacks. Study finds. Carlson didn't see this report, obviously. He didn't see this. It says white Americans are both genetically weaker and less diverse than their black compatriots, a Cornell University-led study finds. Okay. Analyzing the genetic makeup of 20 Americans of European ancestry and 15 African Americans, researchers found that the former showed much less variation among 10,000 tested genes than did the latter, which was expected. They also found that Europeans had many more possibly harmful mutations than did the African, which was a surprise. So they didn't show that study to Tucker Carlson, obviously. Yes, Angela, that article was on Fox. Yeah. I mean, okay. So, did that back up the statement that she made, you all? Did it back up the statement? Harold said we were given garbage to eat, beaten, not taught to read, and inferior housing, clothing, but we are still here and prospering despite the abuse by the Europeans. I would be very afraid if I were them. All right, so S. Harrison. Tucker is in intense therapy after this. I'm sure the Oath Keeper, Tucker will look at himself. He will. I guess you're saying he will never look at himself the same again, and maybe saying, "Surely our fathers have inherited lies." No kidding. No kidding. Portia, we are faster, stronger, and smarter. All right. So you all, did she prove, or did the research prove those statements? That always answers, that always compare blacks and whites. I wonder why. That's a good question, because they only compare themselves to our people for some reason. Onion. Okay, sister, after all those medical terms, I'm going to just read your statement. You say, whites literally say they are afraid of us. How many white cops murdered blacks and not say they were afraid of their life? No study needed. They all say it. Yeah. Up next, the Most High had to have the most powerful empires in history and restrict our power in order for us to be held captive. We are not nearly as powerful as we will be when we are restored. That's so good. That's a very, very good point. Yes. Fee says, I remember my coworker telling me this from what a doctor told her, and she didn't understand, but she respected what the doctor said. I just soaked it in. This was before COVID. So, Joanne, Israel, you need to know, even the pressure from the wicked put us under, or the pressure they put us under, they will bring forth their worst fear of us, still transforming. Yes. Yes. So, all right, put a yes or no if you believe that the resources backed up the statements that Ms. Clarke made. Chine said yes. Harold says yes. Yeah. I mean, if they're going to say trust the science, you know. Up next says be afraid, be very afraid. Waverly says yes. Kimbler, yes. Vicky, yes. Daughter of the Most High, 5 out of 5. Thea, yep. Stephanie, yes, it did. It just goes to show that our Holy Father had our backs all the time. Let's see. Adrian, how could we survive all these years without superior makeup? Really? I mean, they've tried almost everything possible to kill us off. I mean, what haven't they tried? So Joy says, no, they will write a book and claim the data lied. Oh, gosh. Davita, that's why they hunt. All right. You live, you learn, you prosper. Tucker shouldn't get too mad. He might turn black. Oh, no. No. AHK, that's why they scarred. Okay. Don says, point made. Always. Keith says, whenever you show them the real science, they act like they can't believe it. And I mean, if you look at his face when he was making his statements, it was just like he was incredulous, like, really, no way, no way can this be true. So he said deranged. I don't know if he was referring to her or just the statements, that the statements were deranged. But anyway, so you all know the other thing is that, and this part really makes me angry, what happens when our people speak the truth about such issues? They make them recant or apologize. And that's exactly what happened. Her comments created such a stir that folks lost their cotton picking minds and tried to block her confirmation. So let's read this. This is from Real Clear Politics. They tried to say she was unfit to be in government for her comments. So they said that, let me actually hide this first and then I'll come back to it. They said, Kristen Clarke, Joe Biden's nominee for Assistant Attorney General of the United States, once promoted racist, pseudoscientific quackery. Pause and think on that. Arguing that the human brain was structured in a way that makes Black people superior to white people, and that human mental processes in the brain have chemicals that imbue one race with superior physical and mental abilities and spiritual abilities. Rather than owning up to a youthful relationship with radicalism, Clarke, who made these comments in the Harvard Crimson as a 19-year-old, claims that her racist diatribe was merely a parody, mocking the controversial book The Bell Curve. She said, what I was seeking to do was to hold up a mirror, to put one racist theory alongside another. So, what are your thoughts about that? Because it really angers me when that happens. They speak the truth, but when it goes against the white supremacy ideology, they either get prominent Blacks to start attacking the person, or they'll start making claims that the person is crazy, insane, etc. One thing we need to do is we need to be careful to look to see who rushes to make media appearances and statements to try to debunk our people when they're speaking the truth, because they are a part of the problem. That tells us that they have been bought. They have been bought. So we saw that the research backed up every single statement, but she pretty much recanted, just a parody, So, yeah. Cecilia said she should have said thanks, but no thanks. S. Harrison, pseudoscience quackery coming from the mouth of the world's most vile. Yes. Queen Mommy, wait until our superpowers are turned on. They all will see. Yeah. Ropage says she should have worn her I said what I said shirt. There you go. Someone needs to make that shirt. All right. So Joy says she was Kanye before Kanye. Yeah, we see that happening right now, don't we? Victorious Ron, I don't understand why we always apologizing for the truth. because they feel that they need to do it in order to get those positions, remain in those positions, keep what they have, etc. So even though the truth is out there, they apologize. So torchbearer, it's okay. They're going to see when the Most High turns the sun up. Oh boy, Revelation 16:8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. CP says she loves money, and power will recant in a heartbeat. So my thing is, why is it racist to tell the truth? I mean, she told the truth. The science, they say trust the science, backed her up. There are resources. Tucker Carlson could have brought on, maybe he couldn't find any experts. He probably couldn't find anyone who could say she was wrong. So he tried to use belittling tactics. But the point is, if we don't know the truth, if we don't have the facts, we're not in a position to speak up and speak out. And for centuries, we did not have the truth. We did not know. We only knew what they taught us, what was in the books. And we definitely did not have anything like this. Joy said Nick Cannon had to apologize too. Several of them had to. A lot of them had to apologize. But now that we know the truth, I think we see that we're not going to be able to rely on Black politicians or what we call prominent Black folks to stand up and say, this is the truth. I said it. I have the proof to back it up. We're going to have to keep trying to educate our people until we have enough of us putting pressure on these people in these high-level positions per se, so that they are forced to speak the truth and stop going along just to get along when they know the truth. I believe a lot of them know the truth about who we are, but they're not going to say it. They know that it's going to make them an outcast. Well, we kind of see how that happens, right? But how many of them would be willing to say, no, this is the truth and I'm not backing off of this, you know? So she recanted. And that was disheartening because every single point is backed up by the research. And it's not that we created this supremacy ideology. We didn't. This was created and kind of hammered into us that whites are better than black. Black skin means you're cursed. You're an animal. You're not fully human. And now that we know the truth, why should we not be speaking it and shouting it from the rooftops? You know? So Natalie says, yeah, we are like the group named Outcasts. We stand and live the word. Queen Mommy, you mean those skin folk who are not kinfolk chasing the dollar? That's pretty much, yeah, what we see. It's what we see. Mr. The Original School, no need to apologize once the truth is spoken out. Expect the unexpected and know there is a price for speaking against the grain. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cecilia says, yes, Kanye is next. Yeah, he's kind of in it now, in the thick of it now. Fee or Faye says, can't serve two masters. So when in that position, I feel you have a choice to be chastised by this world, and media to speak the truth. I believe that's what you're trying to say. Not sure. Ben says the truth will make you free. Up next, the Most High stated who and what we are above all nations, his silver and his gold, his firstborn son. We are his people. Embrace it. Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. That is true. And it is absolutely true. We have to keep saying it. We have to keep speaking it. We have to keep teaching our children, our friends, and family members so that we have the truth. Because we can see how far they went to keep this information from us. We weren't trying to put them down and, say you're an animal because of your skin. This is what they did to us. This is what they did to us. And the fact that we're now saying, no, this is not the truth. This is what the facts show. This is what your own research is showing. It now makes us racist. And a lot of the people saying that are Christians, that we should not be saying this. We should just walk in love. But as I said earlier, I do believe that we're living in the day where the truth has to come out. All of it. The Most High is uncovering all of the lies. This nation is going to know why it is being judged. And we can see it happening all around us. Calvin says, I want to lead in the love of Yahuwah, but that's just me. Yes, lead in his love. And it's walking in love to speak the truth, you all. To speak the truth. Not pretend that these things are not true because we want people to be comfortable. Do we want them to be comfortable with lies? That's the question. Do we want them to be comfortable with lies? And says they're only going to get more upset. This is just the beginning. Yeah, I do believe that's true. I do believe that's true. But yeah, I wanted to share this with you tonight because it's in line with this series that I'm doing on melanin. I believe, as I said, it's for us to know the truth, not for us to go putting other people down. But again, we didn't create all of this nonsense. This didn't start with us. But now that the tables are flipped, they can't handle the truth. Somebody said that earlier. They can't handle the truth. So that's not our problem. We have to speak the truth, whether people are made to feel uncomfortable or not. We have to speak the truth. So we're going to get ready to wrap up. But before I end this, I do want to make an announcement. Thank you to all of you who purchased the book, The Secret Place. And it talks about how to enter the spiritual place of safety and rest. And I've gotten comments from many of you. So thank you for purchasing it. I pray that it has been a blessing. But now we want to sow back into you. So we're going to have 7 days of sowing seeds to bless Israel. So if you wanted to purchase a copy of the book and you were not able to because of financial reasons, we want to bless the first 50 emails received stating that you would like a free copy of the book. That is our way of sowing back into you. Again, it's for those who wanted to purchase, but you're just not able to right now for financial reasons. And one of the reasons I'm doing this again is I wanted the ministry, to be able to sow back into you, into Israel. And I really have not had a chance to say much about the book. We just kind of put it out there, and that was it. And I wanted to take some time to do that, but we wanted to bless some of you with copies of it first. Of course, in addition to those of you who have already purchased a copy. So again, 50 of you will receive a free copy. We will send it to you. We want to be a blessing. So I need you to send an email, and the email should be in the chat box. Send it to our email address, letting us know that you would like a copy, but you have until November 2nd to send that email to us. And we will go by date and time stamp to identify the first 50. When we get your email, we'll then respond requesting your mailing address so that we can send that to you. I have to note that it is for those here in the United States. So we're not going to ship it overseas or into other countries at this time. So for those here in the United States, and that's not all. What I want to do is have a discussion in December. We'll all come together, those who have copies, etc. We'll all come together on a webinar and talk about the key points in the book, and then have a time of prayer. There's no point in just reading about it, right? We want to put it into action. So again, the information should be in the chat if you would like to receive a free copy if you have not been able to purchase a copy due to financial restraints. Yeah, getting tongue-tied after all of those 15 words. So again, it is our way to bless you during this time. So I want to again thank all of the moderators. Thank you all so much for all that you do. I know your time is valuable, but I appreciate the support, the effort. I thank you to all of you who regularly tune in, show your support through your donations, through your prayers, your messages, words of encouragement. Thank you, thank you, thank you to those who share the messages often. Thank you for all that you're doing to help us with this ministry. We really, really appreciate your support. So we're a good hour, 9:07. All right, so we want to go ahead and wrap up at this time. Thank you again for joining me tonight for this discussion. We're going to continue with the series because there's quite a bit that I have left to share on this topic that I believe will be a blessing. Asaph is saying, good morning. Good morning. What time is it? Asaph, good morning. We're getting ready to go to bed. What time is it there where you are? Okay. What did he say? I didn't see it. Okay. I'm not sure what time it is, ASAP. I'm trying to see. What are you up at, like 3:30 in the morning for this live? Queen Mommy, we are doing a fast with Big Levi for 22 days to mourn the loss of 2/3 of the Gentiles. I'm not sure what you're saying there. 2/3 of the Gentiles. It's a lot of people. 2:08 in the morning. Oh my word. Asaph, what a blessing. Good night. Wow. I'm impressed. Oh, Rosalind says it's after midnight. You're okay after midnight where you are? Okay. Wow. I'm impressed. Okay. Wow. Okay, brother. You get the award. If you don't have a book, we need to send you one. Oh, that's impressive. All right, you all. we're going to wrap up. Have a blessed rest of the week, family. Continue to pray. Trust Aviyah with what he's doing in this seasoning. It's all working together. Everything, all of the truths that's coming out at this time, the different judgment that you see happening in and around the world. You all, there is so much happening. It's really hard to keep up with it. Almost daily, there's something different. So it's hard for us to say he's not moving. He is moving. You just don't have eyes to see if you don't think that something is happening. He is definitely doing something. So be blessed, family. Love you all. Shalom to you.